Hey all class 10 students, hope everybody are doing good. And as I promised, I have come up with the most important concepts that you have to concentrate for improving your score in SSLC board examination. So here I came up with chemistry important questions. So hope you people have watched the strategy of studying class 10 science in 10 days. If you have not watched, please watch that video. And here we are with the most important concepts. And before we continue, you have to like the video and comment, yes, I am ready to listen all important concepts of chemistry. Okay, because I will cover almost all the concepts that you have to concentrate to improve your score. And if you are the one who is looking to get just pass mark, so many people are messaging me, ma'am, do something for passing package. See, if you are looking only to pass the science examination, you have passing package material in our homeschool application. Okay, for that you have to download homeschool application, go to the study material option. So PDF document is available where important questions chapter wise are there with answers. Okay, so you can just download that document and prepare yourself so you can easily pass this science examination. But if you are the one who is trying to improve this score, okay, then this is a must watch video. Watch till the end. And before we start, I again remind you to like the video and comment, okay, below that we are ready, because your one like is one motivation for me to come up with more and more videos like this. Okay, until and unless you don't like the video, it will not reach. When it is not reaching, we don't get motivated to do the videos. So the greatest motivation behind doing videos is more number of likes and more number of shares. If it can reach to larger students, then it can be a satisfying thing. Okay, so thank you so much, and let us start the concept. So we all know chemistry part, that is part B, which is there of 25 marks. Okay, and actually there is no blueprint as such. Chapter wise blueprint is not there, but we can guess, right? See, you have 5 chapters in chemistry, right? So here 5 into 5, 25, but chemical equations and reactions. Chemical equations and reactions, okay, as well as periodic table, PT in the sense that periodic classification of elements, writing it in a short form. So these 2 chapters can be asked for 4 marks as a whole, okay, and then carbon and its compounds. Carbon compounds chapter can be asked for 6 mark. Metals, non-metals. Metals, non-metals chapter also can be asked for 6 mark, and remaining is acid, bases and salts. Acid, bases and salts can be asked for 5 marks. Okay, so this is how we can actually break the marks of the 25 marks chapter wise. Okay, but this is not 100% true, so some variations do happen, but all the 5 chapters together makes 25 marks. Okay, every chapter is important here. Fine. So now coming to what you have to concentrate in chemical reactions and equations. Okay, so this chapter is pretty simple, and before we go for the important concepts of chemistry, keep in a mind that you have to write balanced chemical equations for chemistry questions. Okay, balanced chemical equations are very, very important. So whichever the concept they ask, don't forget to write the balanced equations. Why? Because sometimes even if your sentences are wrong, grammatically wrong, the moment they see chemical equation, chances are there to get a full mark for that particular question. Okay, so this is one tip that I am giving you. as a teacher for you all. So don't forget to write balanced equation. Okay, it is not that they have to ask balanced equation. So even for any concept, if they don't ask any equation, okay, so if you feel that your sentences are wrong or something, just write the equation. Okay, so you might get mark. Fine. And as I said, you know, in this chapter you have to learn balancing equation. Okay, so on balancing, direct question may be asked or may not be asked. Balancing is very much important, because even the question from other chapters, when you have to write a balanced equation, it is very much mandatory. Okay, so properly learn balancing, that is more important. And you know, you no need to learn extra equations out of NCERT textbook. Whatever chemical equations are there in NCERT textbook relating to the 5 chapters of chemistry, those equations only be asked in the final exam. Okay, so they won't go out of NCERT. So practice all textbook back questions, I mean the exercise questions whichever are there for balancing, practice all of them. And in the chapter, whichever chemical equations are there in different concept, practice all of them. Okay, so this is enough for balancing. You no need to learn anything outside of NCERT textbook, right? This is one concept. And later, you know what, you should understand the concepts of every type of chemical reaction. So you should know the definitions of combination reaction, get to know the definitions of decomposition reaction, okay, displacement reaction, double displacement reaction, corrosion, rancidity, right? So all these definitions are very important, definitions of reactions. Okay, for SSLC board, definitions also can be asked, so you have to be careful. Okay, and especially the decomposition reactions are very important. Decomposition reactions. Okay, so there are 3 types of decomposition reaction, isn't it? So you have thermal decomposition reaction, you have electrolysis, and you also have photochemical decomposition. Okay, so thermal decomposition, you have 2 examples. See, ferrous sulfate, when heated, you will get ferric oxide plus sulfur dioxide plus sulfur trioxide. Okay, see, you need to know the type of gases, the smell of gases, the color of product. On this, MCQ question can be framed and asked. Okay, suppose they will ask you, okay, when ferrous sulfate is actually green colored crystals, okay, so it is a hydrated salt. So when green colored crystals are heated, burning smell of sulfur is obtained. What gases is responsible for this? So sulfur dioxide will have a very bad smell. This sulfur dioxide will have a rotten egg smell, and sulfur trioxide will have a burning smell of sulfur. Okay, so it is these gases that are released, and so you will observe a bad smell here whenever this reaction is taking place. And they might also ask a question like this: when ferrous sulfate is heated, brown colored powder is formed. So this Fe2O3 is that brown colored powder. Okay, so color change related question, gases related questions, they will ask you, you have to be careful. Okay, they'll ask you, how do you detect the gases that are formed when ferrous sulfate is heated? How do you detect the gases? By observing bad smell. Okay, I told you these gases will have a rotten egg smell, bad smell. So if the gases have a very bad smell, then they are sulfur gases, sulfur dioxide. Okay, fine. And another important reaction is there that you need to know, lead nitrate. Okay, so when lead nitrate is heated, you will get lead oxide, nitrogen dioxide, and oxygen gas. So where this nitrogen dioxide is a brown colored gas. Okay, and oxygen is helps oxygen always helps for burning, or oxygen always helps for the combustion, right? So they might frame a question like this: when lead nitrate is usually white colored crystals, when lead nitrate is heated, brown colored gas is liberated. Which is that gas? So you have to write nitrogen dioxide. Okay, so what I meant to tell you is, not just practicing chemical equations, you should know the concept involved in the chemical equation. Concept involved in the sense, the color change, which gas, what color gases are forming, what is the color of the starting material, everything you should know. Okay, and now coming to this electrolysis. Okay, electrolysis is nothing but decomposition with the help of electricity, right? So here we all know that water, right? So H2O undergoes decomposition to give H2 plus O2. So this is a very important equation where lot of questions can actually be framed, right? So here 2 and here 2. See, the amount of hydrogen and oxygen obtained here is in 2:1 ratio. Okay, so hydrogen gas is double the amount as compared to oxygen gas formed. Why, they will ask? Why? Because the ratio of hydrogen and oxygen in water is in 2:1. Okay, so very simple answers are enough. You no need to frame, or you no need to write essay type of answers in chemistry. It is many a times the answers are just a chemical equation or just a one word. Okay, fine. And you should know that hydrogen gas is obtained at cathode and oxygen gas is obtained at anode. Okay, and during this reaction actually H2SO4 is added. Okay, without H2SO4 breaking of water is not happening that easily. That is the reason H2SO4 has to be added. What is the use of H2SO4? They'll ask you. Okay, what is the use of H2SO4? It will help for ionization of water. Okay, it will help for ionization of water. So breaking of water is difficult, so we are taking the help of H2SO4. It helps water to break easily. It helps water to break and to produce good amount of hydrogen at cathode and good amount of oxygen at anode. Okay, so these are something you have to be very careful with. And now photochemical equations, they are also important. So you have AgCl when you keep it in sunlight. Okay, so this white AgCl gets converted into grey silver and chlorine gas is evolved. Okay, similarly you have AgBr also, same type of reaction, right? So in both of them, like, observe the color changes, that is mandatory. Okay, and these reactions are used in black and white photography. Okay, so black and white photography, these two equations are helpful. Okay, so these are some aspects of the decomposition reaction which you have to take care, very important. And two more equations I will give you here, they are also very important. So many times this question was repeated, so you have to be careful. The question is, they will give you something like this: calcium carbonate is heated. Just they will mention calcium carbonate heated. Okay, and this is sentence number 1. This is sentence number 2. Water is added to quicklime. Water is added to quicklime. Okay, so what they'll ask you is, write the balanced equation and mention what type of chemical reactions are they. Okay, so you have to mention whether they are combination reaction or decomposition reaction or double decomposition reaction. So that thing you have to mention. So first write the chemical equation. Calcium carbonate heated, that means CaCO3. When you heat this, you will have calcium oxide plus carbon dioxide. And definitely when there is a sign of heating, and see here reactant side 1 is there, product side 2 products are there, definitely this is a decomposition reaction. Okay. So whereas quicklime in the sense calcium oxide, to this when you add water, what product you will get? Calcium hydroxide you will get, and large amount of heat is liberated. So this equation can be an example for combination reaction, as well as this can be an example for exothermic reaction. Okay, so exothermic, endothermic reactions are also very important. They can ask you a direct question like differentiate between endothermic and exothermic, or they can give you question like this and they'll ask you what type of reaction. So all this you have to be careful. And here remember the other examples of exothermic. You know, all combustion reactions are exothermic. Okay, so all combustion reactions that you have already like studied in carbon compounds, oxidation of methane, oxidation of ethane, so all those combustion reactions are exothermic only. Okay, and respiration is exothermic. This is important. They'll ask you why respiration is exothermic, because large amount of heat is liberated, energy is liberated. Energy is nothing but heat. Okay, and decomposition of vegetable matter is exothermic. Okay, decomposition of vegetable matter, right? So whenever the vegetable waste are thrown onto a ground, you know, they'll undergo decomposition. So while decomposition, heat is liberated, right? So decomposition or compost formation, all of them are exothermic reaction. Whereas photosynthesis is endothermic reaction. Okay, so do remember, give reason type questions can be asked. Photosynthesis requires sunlight, okay, for a process to take place. So definitely photosynthesis is endothermic reaction. So you should know which are endothermic and which are exothermic. Okay, fine. And the next concept which is very, very important is the displacement reactions. Okay, so displacement reactions related question, I think you can expect at least one in the board exam. Okay, it can be a 1 marker question, or it can be a 2 marker question, or it can be a MCQ question, because the same concept is also present in the chapter metals and non-metals, isn't it? So don't forget about displacement reaction, you have to know, right? So for displacement reaction, you should know reactivity series. Reactivity series is very important, and I will always give you a trick to remember the reactivity series, that is, please stop calling me a careless, right, a careless zebra. Instead try learning how copper saves gold. Okay, so remember this sentence here, please. P means potassium, sodium, okay, so calcium, magnesium, aluminium, and this is carbon, you no need to write. Zebra means zinc, and here it is iron. Tin, tri means tin, okay, and this is lead, that is Pb, and this is hydrogen, this is copper, this is silver, and this is gold. Okay, the element which comes above is more reactive than the bottom element. That means potassium is more reactive than sodium, sodium is more reactive than calcium, calcium is more reactive than Mg. Okay, see, on reactivity series itself, questions can be framed. Say they'll give you iron, zinc, okay, calcium, copper. So arrange them in the increasing order of their reactivity. So you can always take help of this sentence. Okay, on to a side of a answer sheet, I mean you will be left with a space in the answer sheet, no? So in that space you just write this sentence. You no need to mug up the sequence, just remember this sentence. Okay, so you write and then you check out the answer. Okay, so arrange them in the increasing order of their reactivity. Increasing order means what? Less reactive to more reactive. Okay, first we will write more reactive, guys. So which is more reactive? Calcium comes in the topmost position. So calcium is more reactive, right? So after calcium, which is more reactive? Zinc is there. Zinc is more reactive. And after that comes iron, and copper is less reactive, right? So this way you can arrange in the increasing order, you can arrange in the decreasing order, right? Whatever the question they ask, you can answer easily. So this type of questions also you have to take care. That is very, very essential. Okay, fine. And here in a textbook you have certain equations, right? So Fe when dipped in copper sulfate solution, FeSO4 plus copper you will get. So here the blue color of copper sulfate changes. Okay, so you will have a slight green color or colorless solution. Okay, so why color change takes place? This is the most common question. So why color change takes place? Because iron displaces copper. Why iron displaces copper? Why iron is coming in the place of copper? Because iron is more reactive element, okay, than copper. So this type of questions are very, very common. Actually, questions relating to displacement reactions can be asked in n number of varieties. Okay, so they might ask you why copper sulfate solution cannot be stored in iron pot. Okay, why? Because displacement reaction happens. How do you coat brown color shade onto copper rod or iron rod? When zinc is kept in iron sulfate solution, what will happen? Why is the rod color is changing? Okay, so why is the extra thing deposited on the rods? Whatever it is, whenever rod solution, when this is dipped in this, color change happens. When rod is coated, or how can you coat something without any electricity? Okay, how can you coat an iron rod without any electricity? How can you give a coating of some element onto some element without electricity? This way number of questions can be asked on displacement reaction, and for all those varieties of question, just write the answer: displacement reaction happens. Okay, got to know? So this is one of the very, very important concept that you need to know. Okay, fine. So we are done with the displacement reactions here. Okay, so next we will go for double displacement reaction. Two reactions are there, both are very important. Okay, so double displacement reactions are also called as actually precipitation reactions. Okay, so here you should know the meaning of the word precipitate. You should know the definition of precipitation and everything. So majorly, if I come to the two major equations, barium chloride when added to sodium sulfate, you will get barium sulfate plus sodium chloride. So here barium sulfate exists in white PPT. Okay, so always remember, any kinds of sulfates are always present as white PPTs. Okay, and color change and everything, they might ask you to write a balanced equation. Okay, so question can be framed in any way, but you should know the concept here to answer, right? And next is our lead nitrate. Okay, so lead nitrate when added to potassium iodide, you will have lead iodide, which is LOPPT, and potassium nitrate is the byproduct you will get. Okay, so here lead iodides, all iodides are usually yellow in color, sulfates are usually white in color. Okay, so even if it is some other equation they are asking, you are observing some sulfate as the product, then mention it as white PPT. And if you observe some iodide as a product, then you commonly write the color as yellow. Okay, so these two equations are also many times was asked in the previous papers, and directly they may not ask, indirectly they might ask you. Okay, so these two are the best examples for double displacement reaction. Okay, and after this you have to concentrate the definition of corrosion, rancidity, examples of corrosion, okay, and all about rancidity is a very easy concept. So all the concept try to remember. Rancidity is oxidation, corrosion is also oxidation. And one more important model is something like this. See here, copper oxide plus hydrogen, copper plus H2O. So they'll give you some chemical equation and they will ask you which is reduced and which is oxidized. Okay, so these are very, very famous questions in chemistry as multiple choice question or as one marker question. Okay, so which is reduced and which is oxidized? You know what? You have to select your answer among reactants only. Okay, they'll give you option. All the four would be there in the option. Okay, so many people will touch the products. I don't know why they touch the product. Your answer lies between the reactants only. Okay, you just check with one particular thing. You check with the starting reactant. Okay, copper oxide. Here, copper containing thing where it is in the product. That is what you have to search. See, copper oxide got converted into copper, right? Here oxygen was there, oxygen is not there in the product. That means removal of oxygen took place. Removal of oxygen means reduction. Okay, so here copper oxide is reduced. Okay, check with only one conversion, it's enough. Among the two reactant, if this fellow is reduced, then this fellow must have been oxidized. H2 is oxidized. You no need to again check. Okay, H2 got converted to what? What happened? Again, checking that is a time waste for you. Okay, check with only one material, check with only one chemical formula, one reactant, and then decide the answer. Okay, so removal of oxygen or addition of hydrogen is reduction. Addition of oxygen and removal of hydrogen is oxidation. Okay, so this kind of questions are also very, very common in chemistry. You have to concentrate. Okay, so overall, these are the most essential concepts that you have to remember. See, understanding concept is more important. If you can understand the concept, you know what, you can try to figure out the answer for a particular question. Okay, but you should be aware of like which concept can be asked in what number of ways. Okay, like I said, by taking an examples, so all those models you should be aware of. So that is all about chemical reactions and equations chapter. Coming to this chapter, the starting part of the chapter is very easy, like indicators, different types of indicators. Okay, so all that you have to study, especially the olfactory indicators are very important. So they will ask you the definition of olfactory indicators. So olfactory indicators are those substances whose smell changes when dipped in acids and bases. Okay, and examples of olfactory indicator like onion, vanilla, clove. Okay, so all those things you have to remember. And the most interesting part of this chapter is reactions of acids here. Okay, so all the reactions of acids you have to revise carefully. Like, let me explain that in the form of flowchart so that you can easily remember. Okay, see, acid reacting with any metal, you will always get salt plus hydrogen gas. Okay, so this is very important. So what do you get out of metal reacting with acid? How do you detect the presence of hydrogen gas is a very common question. So when burning candle is kept near hydrogen gas, it burns with pop sound. That is important. And you know what? All metals cannot react with acids. Only the metals which are above hydrogen in the reactivity series. Okay, below hydrogen your copper comes, silver comes and gold comes. You know what? These guys will not react with acid to give hydrogen gas. Only the metals which are above hydrogen in the reactivity series can only react with acid to give hydrogen gas. Okay, but there is one exception here. You will actually study that in metals, non-metals chapter, but I will explain it now only because the situation has come. Okay, so this nitric acid, see, any metal you take, when you try to treat it with concentrated nitric acid like HNO3, you will get salt, no doubt, but you will not get hydrogen. Instead of hydrogen, you will get water plus oxides of nitrogen you will get. So here they'll ask you, why you will not get hydrogen? Why do you get water? They will ask you. Because this concentrated nitric acid is the best oxidizing agent. Okay, so it is the best oxidizing agent. That is the reason instead of getting hydrogen, you will get water. Okay, but here exceptions are there. Exceptions are there. Chemistry is all about lot of exceptions always. Mn and Mg. Okay, so this Mn and Mg can give hydrogen gas, guys. Okay, so when these metals react with dilute HNO3 usually, they give hydrogen. But all other metals except these two fellows, all other metals, when they react with concentrated nitric acid, they will always give water. Okay, so this is one important aspect you have to take care. Fine. So now next type of reaction is when acid react with sodium carbonate or sodium bicarbonate, or it can be any carbonate, calcium carbonate, magnesium carbonate or whatever. You will always get salt, water and carbon dioxide as the product. Okay, so here you get hydrogen and here you get carbon dioxide. And how do you detect carbon dioxide? That is another aspect you should know. So carbon dioxide is detected by which test? Lime water test. So you should know chemical equation related to lime water test. Okay, so what is a lime water test? When carbon dioxide is passed through calcium hydroxide solution is called lime water. Okay, you will get white PPT. This is a white PPT of calcium carbonate. Okay, so this is very important. Again to this plus water you will get as the product. Again to this, if carbon dioxide is passed, calcium bicarbonate is formed, which is colorless. Okay, so previously whatever white PPT is obtained, to that if carbon dioxide is passed, colorless calcium bicarbonate is formed. So this is that lime water test, and this is how carbon dioxide can be detected. Okay, so this whole lot of a concept you should understand carefully. So first one is over, second one is over. So now let me go for the third reaction here. Whenever acids react with metal oxides. Okay, so metal oxides are usually basic. Okay, so whenever acid reacts with metal oxides, you will get salt and water. This is also very important. Okay, so you have one chemical reaction as an example, HCl when reacts with copper oxide, what do you get? You will get copper chloride plus H2O. Okay, so this reaction is there in your book CuCl2, right? So where the green color copper chloride is usually formed, right? So this is an example for that. And the fourth reaction here, okay, so the fourth one, third one is over. Now the fourth one is acid reaction with base. Acid reaction with base here. Okay, and we know it is called as neutralisation reaction. So HCl plus NaOH, you will get NaCl plus H2O. So this is what we also mean by neutralisation reaction, isn't it? So neutralisation reactions are exothermic. Remember this process, exothermic. Why do we call exothermic? Because large amount of heat is liberated. So this concept is also important. Okay, and coming to non-metals. Okay, so whenever coming to bases, right? So one more equation I'll tell you. bases when react with non-metallic oxides, okay, then also you will get salt plus water. Okay, got to know non-metallic oxides are usually acidic, yeah, that is why bases are reacting with them. Okay, so these are different chemical reactions you have to focus in this particular chapter. So other than this, the simple, give reason type of questions are very common. Okay, from this chapter, give reasons type of questions. So why do acid solution conduct electricity? Why do acid solution conduct electricity? Okay, so all these questions are very important. Okay, so even in your textbook exercise, you have some give reason questions relating to this chapter, no? So focus on all of them. Especially this question is very common. Acid solution conducts electricity because you have lot of ions. Okay, so majorly for all the give reason type of questions, I mean relating to acidic character, basic character and salt character, whatever give reason type of questions are asked, the common answer will revolve around ions only. So you see that in your answer, that keyword ion should be there. Okay, for anything to conduct electricity, ions are very important, especially the chemical solution. So this is the keyword. If something does not conduct electricity, then you write no ions. If something is conducting electricity, then you write the word ions. So this is what the answer for all the give reasons questions relating to acidic character, basic character questions. Okay, fine. And you also should focus on this word called dilution. So what is a dilution? Dilution is addition of acid or base to water. Okay, addition of acid or base to water is called as dilution. So while diluting, it is always recommended to add acid to water. Okay, we always add acid to water but not water to acid. Why, they will ask you. So why do you add acid to water? Is because the dilution is exothermic. This is what the answer. Dilution is exothermic. Large amount of heat is liberated. Okay, if acid that is there in a beaker splashes on our face, burns, it burns. Okay, because the dilution is exothermic, it is better to add acid to water, not water to acid. Okay, so this concept you should know. And after that, something about pH. Okay, so they'll give you pretty easy questions. A, B, C. A has a pH 6, B has a pH 7, C has a pH 8. Which of them has maximum H plus ions? Okay, which has maximum H plus ions? Lesser the pH value, that has maximum H plus ion. Which has got maximum OH minus ions? Higher the value, maximum OH. Okay, more H plus means more acidic. Okay, more OH minus in the sense more basic. Okay, if the value is above 7, basic. Value below 7, acidic. Lesser the value, more is the acidic nature. More the pH value, more is the basic nature. Okay, so this type of questions are also very, very common from this chapter. And let me show you one table. That table is mandatory to remember in NCERT text. Here, hope you people can see this green color box, like which acid is present in which. Acetic acid present in vinegar, citric acid present in orange, tartaric acid present in tamarind. Okay, so this part of a textbook is very important. And not only that, here, for application based questions, they can frame on this also. Try to remember gastric juice pH value, lemon, okay, pure water, blood also has got pH value 7.4, milk of magnesia has pH 10, and later sodium hydroxide solution has got pH 14. Okay, so this and that particular table is important. And the questions like what is tooth decay, how it is caused, what is acid rain, okay, what are antacids, give an example of antacids. So importance of pH in everyday life, so that aspect also you have to concentrate. Okay, and now coming to salts. Okay, so there are certain salts you have studied NaOH preparation, chlor-alkali process. Chlor-alkali process is very, very important, guys. So for chlor-alkali process, you will take brine solution, that is NaCl plus H2O. You will have NaOH. Cl2 gas is formed at anode and H2 gas is formed at cathode. So this reaction is very important, and they will ask you the uses of all these chemicals. NaOH uses, Cl2 uses, H2 uses. Okay, NaOH is used in soap industry, paper industry. Cl2 used as disinfectant, used for sterilization, used to prepare bleaching powder. H2 is used as fuel. H2 is used to prepare ammonia. Okay, so uses. And later bleaching powder, CaOCl2 is the formula. Calcium oxychloride is the common name for this. Okay, so how do you prepare bleaching powder? So when chlorine is passed to slaked lime, that is calcium hydroxide, bleaching powder is formed. Uses of bleaching powder, right? Used for sterilization, used as disinfectant, used to bleach cloths, isn't it? So all salts uses and their preparation reactions are very important. And coming to baking powder, NaHCO3. Okay, so its preparation reaction is important. So how do you prepare this and what are its uses? Okay, so NaHCO3 is used as baking powder. You know, it is used as baking powder. Baking powder is actually a combination of NaHCO3 and tartaric acid. Okay, tartaric acid. Right? So this is the chemical composition of baking powder. Okay, so why tartaric acid is there? Because it is, see, NaHCO3, when it is heated, you will get Na2CO3 plus carbon dioxide plus water, right? And this, because of the liberation of carbon dioxide, the cakes or bread, whatever you prepare by adding baking powder, appear soft and fluffy. Okay, why do they appear soft and fluffy? Because this carbon dioxide is liberated. Now, to remove this sodium carbonate, if too much is there in the food, that bitter taste you will get. To remove that bitter taste, this tartaric acid is added to baking powder. Okay, so that is the purpose of tartaric acid as the composition in baking powder. Okay, fine. So, and sodium carbonate, washing soda, Na2CO3.10H2O. This is washing soda formula. Right, so this is used to remove hardness of water. That particular use you should never ever forget. Okay, use of sodium carbonate is to remove hardness of water. And later you have this plaster of Paris. Chemical formula of plaster of Paris is calcium sulfate dot half H2O. So it is prepared from gypsum. That is calcium sulfate dot 2H2O. Okay, and there is one give reason question here. Why plaster of Paris have to be stored in airtight container? Because when this POP is exposed to water, it gets converted to gypsum, and gypsum is a hard substance. Okay, to avoid converting to gypsum, plaster of Paris is always stored in a airtight containers. Okay, so all these salts and their uses, their equations are important. At least one question can be asked from this particular topic. Salts, only salt. Okay, so that is all about this acid, bases and salts. And remaining chapters I will deal in part 2 video of chemistry. Okay, because the video has took lot of time, and you know, if you want me to do this level of revision for you, you have to like the video, because one like is one motivation, right? And if you have enjoyed this video, if you have watched this video till the end, just mention in the comment section I enjoyed, and mention in the comment section that you are waiting for part 2 of chemistry. So just within 5 to 6 hours of this video, I will release part 2 video also. Okay, so you can happily get revised with the concept and get to know like which concepts you have to focus more and prepare towards that. Okay, so that is all about the video. Keep learning and don't forget to like and don't forget to share the video. So that is what the motivation that makes me to do more and more videos. Okay, thank you so much.